So now at least when we go through these steps, it might make a little bit more sense just after seeing the little PowerPoint there. So the key here is that we have to, I mean, the equations are usually always in this form, but if they're not, we should put them in ax plus by equals c form, right? Should be the x's first, then the y's, then the equal sign, then the c. And that's because we know at some point we're going to stack the equations and either add or subtract, right? Then, okay, of course, number the equations 1 and 2. We'll never forget that. Choose the variable you wish to eliminate. And hey, there is a strategy to this because the one that you're going to eliminate is the matching coefficients. And if someone's watching the YouTuber, that might not make a whole ton of sense right now, but for us in here, we're like, okay, yeah, I know what you mean by that. Find an equivalent system so that the coefficients of one of the variables are opposites. Okay, that's what they're trying to do here. Add an equivalent system, add or subtract, it could be, right? And once you get that variable, you sub it into the other equation. They do the steps. I saw actually when people were working on substitution stuff, they pulled out the steps and they had it beside them as they were working away, and that's good. I saw others with this right beside. Well, for substitution, it was right beside them. They were working on questions, looking back and forth until you just gain traction on this stuff and you take off with it. So solve by elimination, then check. Stack the equations. So notice it's ax by equal sign c, right? They're in that form. In this particular example, just by looking at the two equations, which variable are we going to eliminate? Is it going to be x or y? And it's going to be x because they have the matching coefficients here, right? So good. So once you see that, I know one's -3, one's +3. We're not concerned about that. We're just concerned about that 3. So when we stack the equations, we'll get 0x, right? When we subtract, we're subtracting straight down like we did in grades 4, 5, and 6 maybe. Put a plus there. I told you to write the word add, or maybe even circle the plus, just so you know that you're adding all of these. So it's like, okay, 4y plus 1y is 5y. Equal sign. 7 plus -2 is +5. So 0x means it's eliminated. You can cross it out or just kind of forget about it. We're going to divide each side here by 5. And we should get y equals 1. And it's a lot less work. It is. Doesn't it feel like a lot less work? It's pretty good stuff. Now, we take that y equals 1, and very similar to substitution, we're subbing it into either equation. And we're subbing it in for y. So, for whatever reason, I chose to sub it into equation number 2. In equation number 2, if you look up here, is 3x plus y equals -2. We sub in +1 for y, and we just solve for this. As we always do, bring the 1 over, it becomes -1, plus the like terms over there, divide each side by 3, and x equals -1. So point of intersection is x first, -1, then y, +1. And yeah, what we should do, I didn't do it here necessarily, or maybe I did on the next one, is check. Yeah, check our solutions here. So we sub in -1 for x and +1 for y, and we sub it into both of the original solutions, and that is incredibly important. You're going to notice on this quiz, I'm going to ask you to check your work, and the checking is worth 2 marks, because you're going to have to check one equation and another equation. Yeah? Good? Okay. Let's do an example. Here we go. Solve by elimination. X plus y equals 2. 3x minus y equals 2. In example 2, which variable are we going to eliminate, the x or the y? the y's, and that's because they have that matching coefficient. I know they're not there, but we know it's a 1y up here, a positive 1y, and then a negative 1y here. Now, are we going to add the two equations to eliminate y, or subtract the two equations to eliminate y? Catalina? We're going to add, absolutely. And there is a trick to this. So I'm going to put the plus here, I'm going to circle it, and I'm going to draw that line like that. We're adding, absolutely. Usually, when you're looking at the variable you're going to eliminate, yeah, like we knew we were going to eliminate y. When the signs are different, you add. Signs are different, add. So here we go. 1x plus 3x is 4x. Now we kind of shift our brain over here. 1y plus negative 1y is 0y. Lovely. Line up the equal signs the best you can. And 2 plus 2 equals 4. The y's are eliminated. You can just cross them out if you wish. Or what I like to do personally is rewrite this. 4x equals 4. And from here, we just divide each side by the coefficient of the variable. And we get x equals 1. That's not too shabby, right? It's all right. So what we do with this is we're just going to, I write the little note here. Sub x equals 1 into, and we talked about this, even the same thing for substitution. It doesn't actually matter which one you sub it into. I like to choose the equation that has the littler numbers. So I'm going to choose equation number 1, the top one here. So equation 1 is x plus y equals 2. If x equals 1, we're going to sub in 1 for x plus y equals 2. Bring the 1 over. So we should have y equals 2 minus 1 and y equals positive 1. There we have it. Point of intersection is 1, comma 1. Oh, look at that. Cool. Questions about that? Okay, great. Oh, look at this nasty one in example 3. What is wrong with this picture here in example 3? What's wrong, Allie? It's not arranged properly, absolutely. What we want these things to be in is ax plus by equals c form. Right? So what we can do, equation 1, equation 2. How can we rearrange equation 1 for this to look a little bit better? Equation 1 currently is y equals negative 2x minus 5. We want maybe just that negative 2 over here. Yeah? So we'll make it positive 2x, positive 1y equals, and negative 5 remains on the right-hand side. So if you look, it is ax, right? Ax plus by equals c. And that's what we're going for. Now, how about equation number 2? It's negative 2x equals negative 1y minus 1. Oh, it looks like we're doing something very similar. I think we can just take this negative 1y, bring it over here. We get negative 2x plus 1y equals, and it's just a minus 1 on the right-hand side, so negative 1. Agreed? Okay. So now that we have our equations here, we can go ahead and say, okay, equation 1 is 2x plus 1y equals negative 5, okay? And equation 2 is negative 2x plus 1y equals negative 1. I've stacked the equations. Now, if you've already got this stuff down pat, you look at this one, and it's probably so easy that it's confusing. Because which variable are we going to eliminate? Is it going to be x or is it going to be y? It can be either of them, absolutely. And the reason why it could be either is because, look, we have matching 2's, just like that, 2 and 2, and we also have the matching 1's, right, for the y's. So it doesn't actually matter, but we do have to make one choice. So do you want to eliminate the x's or the y's? You want to do the x's. Now, if you do choose to do the x's, are you going to add or subtract? You're going to add because the signs are different. And we wrote up here, when the signs are different, we add. X would probably be a nice one to eliminate. What I'm going to do is I want to show you one. I don't know what's coming up here. Yeah, see? I want to show you, I'm going to personally eliminate the y's. Do you have to? No. But I just want to show you this example. So I'm going to choose to eliminate y. So I'm going to write I choose to eliminate y. You can certainly do x if you want. It's no problem. I'm going to show you why, because if we eliminate y, it's positive 1y and positive 1y. I'm going to add or subtract to eliminate y. Subtract. So I'm going to put a minus sign here, circle it, and let's start subtracting. Subtraction, you've got to be very careful. It's almost like when you're dealing with negatives in any sort of math. It's the same idea here. You've got to be extremely careful. And just go super slow. 2 minus negative 2. Like, if you think about that, 2 minus negative 2 is really 2 plus 2, isn't it? Yeah? So that's one thing we have to be extremely careful on, is the signs. So 2 minus negative 2 is positive 4x. Now we bring our shifter over here. We'll get 1y minus 1y is 0y. Okay? And negative 5 minus negative 1. Honestly, I'm going right to the calculator. Negative 5 minus negative 1, negative 4. Okay, the y is eliminated. We're left with 4x equals negative 4. Divide each side by 4, and x equals negative 1. Okay. From here, what we're going to do is sub this x equals negative 1 into, well, equation 1 or 2. Now, this is a little strange because we actually have 4 equations here, right? We have the original 1 and 2, and we also have the rearranged 1 and 2. The best rule of thumb here is to just always refer back to the original equations. That's just the best idea. So either this equation 1 or this equation 2. And I think I'm going to choose 1 because y is already isolated for us. It's nice. So y equals negative 2x minus 5. Okay, and we're subbing in x as negative 1. So negative 2 times negative 1 minus 5. And we should get positive 2 minus 5, which is negative 3. Okay. Therefore, point of intersection is negative 1 negative 3. X then 1. Okay. Questions about that, folks? All right. The homework here doesn't actually come from the textbook now, does it? In your package, if you go over to that next page, yeah, this is actually from the old textbook that we used to have in this course. The questions for elimination were a lot better in the older textbook than they are in this new one. So I wrote here just numbers 3 and 4, and there is a ton of questions there. It says it's at that page that says exercise 3.3, and that's all I got for you, right? There are solutions which are not actually in this package, but I will get them up on the board and for sure up on D2L. Okay? So, today's elimination, good stuff. Tomorrow is going to be a work period. We're going to work on substitution and elimination tomorrow. Yeah? And I'm going to give you more stuff. I'm going to give you some good practice for tomorrow. Right? So certainly get this homework done. A practice quiz tomorrow, and then quiz on Friday. Check it out. One y equals negative 3. Yeah, let me, yes. No, do that one. 3/4. And it should stay at the front here as well. Oh, 1 to 3. Both times the same at 3/4. Right? We got -1 and -3, which is actually equal. Estimation 1. Pardon? Oh, y equals okay, so this is what we do. Left side, right side. Y is -3. We can do it on that side. With the right side, we can do -2 and -1 minus 5. +2, we can see from -1 +2 minus 5. And we got I know. 3/4. 3/4. No, because that's 3/4 for sure. Nope, just 3 and 4. Just 3 and 4.